Hello everyone, welcome to the new video lecture of subject Electrical Circuit Analysis. Myself Himanshu Joshi, I am an assistant professor in Sri Labhubhai Trivedi Institute of Engineering and Technology, Rajkot. So today's video lecture is based on Norton's theorem. So let's see what is the Norton's theorem. So we can say that this Norton theorem is an alternative of Thevenin's theorem, or we can say that Norton's and Thevenin's theorem are dual of each other. So in simple way we can say that in Thevenin's theorem we will reduce a network with equivalent constant voltage source with series resistance. Now in Norton's theorem we will replace a network by equivalent constant current source with parallel resistance. That means in Thevenin's theorem we have voltage source with series resistance, but in the case of Norton's theorem we have current source with parallel resistance. So in this way we can say that Norton's and Thevenin's are alternative or dual of each other. So what is the statements for Norton's theorem? So in Norton's theorem states that current flowing through a load resistance RL, which is connected across the two terminal of linear active bilateral network, is given by IRL is equal to IN into RN upon RN plus RL. So what is the value of IN? IN is the short circuit current. That means current flowing through two terminal when RL is short circuited, and RN is the internal resistance of the network viewed back into the short circuit network from terminal AB when all the voltage source are short circuited and current source are open circuited. So statements is just like Thevenin's theorem. So let's see how can we apply the Norton's theorem to a simple network. So let's suppose this is the network, and in this network I have to find current which is flow from load resistance RL. So based on Norton's theorem, what we have to do? We have to short circuit this load resistance. In Thevenin's theorem we will open circuit this load resistance, but in Norton's theorem we have to short circuit this load resistance. So I will short circuited the terminal AB. Now in this short circuited branch I have to find out the short circuit current, or this short circuit current is also known as Norton's current IN. So this is the short circuit current, or we can say that Norton's current. It is much more known as Norton's current. So this Norton's current we can find out with any way. Either we are going to use KVL, we can use KCL, we can use superposition theorem if there will be a multiple source superposition theorem, we can use voltage divider rule, or we can use current divider rule or Ohm's law. Clear? We can use any of the circuit analysis method to find out this Norton's current or short circuit current. So after find out this Norton's current, we have to find out the equivalent resistance across terminal AB. Now this equivalent resistance is known as Norton's resistance, and this is the same as Thevenin's resistance. Clear? As Norton's and Thevenin's are alternative of each other, there will be only one change. Instead of voltage source there will be a current source, but the way to find out the resistance is same procedure to find out the value of Rn, which is the method to find out the value of Rth. So, resistance, Norton resistance is equal to Thevenin's resistance. So, after finding the short circuit current after find out the short circuit current and Thevenin's resistance or Norton's resistance or internal resistance, this is the equivalent circuit of Norton's theorem. So, how to draw the equivalent circuit? We have to apply the Norton's current with current source, and we have to connect that Norton's resistance in parallel to current source, Norton's currents. Clear? So, in case of Norton's equivalent circuit, there will be a current source with parallel resistance, and this is our terminal AB. So, to find out the load current, we have to connect back our load resistance RL. So, this is the equivalent circuit of Norton's theorem, Norton source IN or ISC with parallel to Norton's resistance or Thevenin's resistance or internal resistance, and this is our load resistance RL. So, now we have to find out the value of load resistance IRL. So, we simply use current divider rule. Clear? So, total current will be divided into two parts. First part in this Norton's resistance, second one is in the load resistance. So, we have to find out this current. So, IRL is equal to total current IN multiply by the resistance which is parallel to the load resistance. So, simply Rn divided by the number of branch connected in parallel. So, Rn plus RL. So, this is our Norton's formula. Clear? This is our Norton's formula. We will use this formula to find out or to solve the Norton's theorem example. So, what are the steps to calculate the example by using Norton's theorem? So, first step is temporarily short circuit the resistance. In previous Thevenin's theorem, we will use the word open circuit, but in the case of Norton's theorem, we simply short circuit the resistance or load resistance whose current is required to be find. Second step is find the short circuit current, or it is also known as Norton current, which flow across the two terminals from where load resistance has been short circuit. So, through that short circuited branch we have to find out the short circuit current or Norton's current. Third step, compute the resistance of whole network as look from these two terminal after all the voltage source has been short circuited and current sources will be open circuited. It is also called Rn, Norton's resistance, which is same as Thevenin's resistance. Now, fourth step is replace the entire network by single Norton's current source with parallel resistance RL. And fifth step is connect RL back to its terminal from where previously it was short circuited. And final step is calculate the load resistance current by using formula IRL is equal to IN multiplied by Rn divided by Rn plus RL. So, these are the steps to calculate the Norton's theorem example. Clear? Short circuit the branch, through that branch find out the short circuit current, again find out the equivalent resistance through which terminal has been short circuited, with voltage source will be replaced by short circuit and current source will be replaced by open circuit. Next, draw the Norton's equivalent network, connect the load resistance back and find the current by using this current divider formula. So, these are the steps to calculate the example with Norton's theorem. Now, consider let us see some of the drawbacks of Norton's theorem. So, Norton's theorem does not use for the network containing unilateral and nonlinear element. That means unilateral means unidirectional element and nonlinear element. Suppose let's example will be diode, or we can say that any power electronics device. For that Norton's theorem cannot be used. Second drawback is Norton's theorem does not use for the network which is having a load with only dependent source. Clear? Norton's theorem cannot be used for dependent source. And third and last drawback is Norton's theorem cannot be used for the network in which magnetic coupling between load and any other circuit is exist. Clear? If there is a magnetic coupling between load and any other element, then for that particular network Norton's theorem cannot be used. Now, application of Norton's theorem. So, Norton's theorem, with Norton's theorem it is possible to convert any complicated network into the simple network. Clear? We will replace the network without load in single current source with single parallel resistance. So, it is possible to convert complicated network into the simple network. And second, by using Norton's theorem we can find voltage, current and power which is delivered to the load with simple calculation. So, these are the application of Norton's theorem. We can say that these drawbacks and this application is also applicable to Thevenin's theorem also. So, in this single slide I have used all these steps. So, first step is that network has been given. Second step, we have to replace this load with short circuit. Clear? We will short circuit the element AB and find out the short circuit current or Norton's current through that short circuited branch. Again we will find out the Norton's resistance, or we can say that Thevenin's resistance, and after finding this Norton's current and Norton's resistance, we will draw the Norton's equivalent network, current source with parallel resistance. We will connect the load that we have short circuited in step number 2. This is the third step, this is the fourth step, this is the fifth step. That means we will draw the Norton's equivalent network and connect the load resistance RL. And in sixth step we will calculate the load current. So, these are the steps for Norton's theorem. Now, let us see one example by using Norton's theorem. So, the statement of the example is determine the current in R is equal to 1 ohm resistor of the network by using Norton's theorem. We have to find out the current through this 1 ohm resistance by using Norton's theorem. So, the first step is we have to short circuit this 1 ohm resistance. So, I have short circuit this 1 ohm resistance, and this current is IN, Norton's current, that I have to find. So, here you can see that there will be a 3 branch I1, I2, sorry, not 3 branch, there will be a 3 loops I1, I2 and I3. Now, my Norton's current is flow from this third loop. Clear? This is the third loop which is having a value of I3, and this I3 flow in this downward direction, and this Norton current I am also assuming the downward direction. So, I3, that means loop current 3 is itself my Norton's current. Clear? Loop 3 current I3 is my Norton's current. So I have to simply apply the Kirchhoff voltage law in all these three loop, and I have to find out the I3, and this I3 is nothing but my Norton's current. So the logic to find out the Norton's current is to apply the Kirchhoff voltage law in all these three loop and find out the loop number 3 current I3, that is my Norton's current or short circuit current. So I simply apply the Kirchhoff voltage law in loop 1, that means this 3 volt, 3 ohm, 2 ohm and this 1 volt. This is my loop number 1. So KVL equation will be look like 3 minus 3 I1 minus 2 I1 minus IN, because I1 flow in this direction and this I3 flows in this direction. Clear? This 2 ohm and in this 2 ohm. So I1 goes in this direction, IN or I3 goes in this direction. So I will write I1 minus IN minus 1 volt, so equal to 0. So I will simplify with 3 minus 5 I1 plus 2 IN minus 1 is equal to 0. So loop 1 equation will be look like this: 5 I1 minus 2 IN is equal to 2. Now I will apply the Kirchhoff voltage law in loop number 2. So this is my loop number 2. This is my loop number 2. So KVL equation will be 1 minus 2 I2 minus IN. So this is the direction of I2. This is the direction of IN, because I have considered the same clockwise direction. So minus 2 I2 minus IN minus 2 I2, this resistance drop, minus 2 I2 is equal to 0. So I can write minus 4 I2 plus 2 IN is equal to minus 1, and final equation of loop 2 will be minus 4 I2 plus 2 IN is equal to 2. This is the Kirchhoff voltage law for loop number 2. And last loop, that is the loop number 3. So these two drops, clear, these two drops will be in loop number 3. So in loop number 2, I2 and IN, two current will be flow through this 2 ohm resistance. So I can write minus 2 IN minus I2, because I will write equation in loop number 3. So I will take the direction of this resistance as a reference. So minus 2 IN minus I2, and for this resistance I1 will be in this direction and IN will be in this direction. So I will write minus 2 IN minus I1 is equal to 0. So final equation for loop number 3 will be look like this: 2 I1 plus 2 I2 minus 4 IN is equal to 0. So this is the loop number 3, equation number 3. So all these three equation for loop number 1, 2 and 3 will be over here. So based on that, I can rearrange for this matrix equation or matrix formation for this all three equation to use the Cramer's rule. So based on this matrix, I have to find out the value of current IN, that is the I3, nothing but I3. So IN is equal to delta 3 by delta, clear, or I can say that I3 is equal to delta 3 by delta. So from this matrix formation, I have to find out only two matrix, because I don't want to find out I1 and I2. So I don't have to find out the value of delta 1 and delta 2. So simply I will find delta 3 and delta. So this is the value of delta. So after simplifying this, I will get delta is equal to minus 44, and this is the formation of delta 3, and delta 3 is equal to minus 26. So my I3 or IN or ISC is equal to delta 3 by delta, that means minus 26 upon minus 44. So IN is equal to IN is equal to ISC is equal to delta 3 by delta. So minus 26 divided by minus 44, which is equal to 0.5909 ampere. So this is the my final answer of Norton's current or short circuit current. Now next step is to find out the value of Norton's resistance. So to find out the Norton's resistance, we have to remove all the voltage source and all the current source. So, in my basic example, only two sources will be there. This is the 1 ampere current source and this is the 1 volt voltage source. So, this will be open circuited and this will be short circuited. Clear? So, this current source will be open circuited and this voltage source is short circuited. So, my Norton's resistance is equal to parallel combination of these two resistance. Clear? This 2 ohm and this 2 ohm will be in parallel and this 3 ohm and this 2 ohm will be parallel. How? Just because this two resistance will be started from this point and terminated through this short circuited point. Clear? So, I can say that these two resistance are in parallel, and on the same way these two resistance will be started from this point and terminated through this short circuited path. So, these two are in also parallel. Now, their parallel combination is comes series. After their parallel, these two resistance will be replaced by single resistance and this also replaced with single resistance. So, that two resistance comes in series. So, equivalent Norton resistance will be the parallel combination of these two resistance with their series combination. So, this 2 parallel 2 is equal to 1 ohm and this 3 parallel 2 is equal to 1.2 ohm. So, Norton resistance for this particular network is equal to 2.2 ohm. Now, final Norton's equivalent circuit will be look like this. This is the Norton's current which is having a value of 0.5909, 0.5909 ampere. Clear? 5909, or you can simply write 0.59, that does not make any sense, and Norton resistance is equal to 2.2 ohm. And now, we have to connect the load resistance which we have short circuited in our first step, 1 ohm, that we have to connect in our Norton's equivalent network. So, finally, I can write current through 1 ohm resistance, that means our load current is equal to Norton's current, that is equal to 0.5909 multiply by Rn, that is equal to 2.2 ohm, divided by Rn plus RL, 2.2 plus 1. So, that is equal to 0.5909 and the resultant for this factor is equal to 0.6875 and final answer is equal to 0.406 ampere. So, this is the way to solve the network by using Norton's theorem. Simply short circuit the element, find out the short circuit current by using any method, KVL, KCL, voltage divider rule, current divider rule, Ohm's law, superposition theorem, any way you can find out the short circuit current, and after that find out the equivalent resistance by using replacing voltage source with short circuit and current source with open circuit. After find out the equivalent resistance, draw the Norton's equivalent network, apply the formula and find the load current. So, this is the method to use the Norton's theorem. Thank you very much. One thing that I have mentioned over here in our first step, let me clarify you. Here this current source and parallel resistance, I have replaced this current source and parallel resistance into voltage source with series resistance. Clear? That you can simply know also, that is no big issue. So, this current source parallel resistance by using source transformation theorem, I have replaced this current source with parallel resistance into the voltage source with series resistance. So, this series resistance having a same value, that is the value of parallel resistance, and the value of this voltage source is equal to current source multiplied by resistance, that is 1 into 3 is equal to 3 volt. This is the value of voltage source. Now, in this voltage source, upper plate is positive, lower plate is negative, just because this current source have upward direction. Clear? So, this is the simple step that we can do by inspection. Current source parallel resistance will be replaced by voltage source with series resistance. The remaining thing will be same. So, thank you very much. If you have any question, any doubt, you can give your doubt and question in comment section. Thank you very much.